Hello. Good evening and welcome to episode 111 of the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show and proudly brought to you in 2023 by Euro Football Star. My name's Tonchi Prusak. I am your host for tonight's show, and what a show we've got planned for you folks tonight. It's going to be massive. And, our guests tonight in the Global Game segment, our first part of tonight's program, we've got a super surprise for you. CARLA LEE, she's the head of youth, that is the under-12s through to the under-18s of the Liverpool Football Club. She'll be on tonight talking about giving some wise words of advice for any promising youngster looking to make it big in Europe. We'll also be joined by Charlotte AINSWORTH. Now, she's a talented young Brisbane footballer who won the 2022 Euro Football Star Objective Testing, the girls category in Queensland. So that was in 2022. And as a result, she won an $8,000 trip to the UK, a massive prize. Now, the director of Euro Football Star, which is our major sponsor, Ray Wood, he'll be conducting those interviews, and Ray himself will be joining us straight after those interviews to talk about the next objective testing session that is going to be held later this week in Melbourne, just in time for the school holidays, folks. In the local game segment, we've got an action-packed, jam-packed segment of the local game. Our big guest tonight is going to be Ash DAFTER. He's the Surf Coast Football Club senior men's coach. He'll be joining us to talk about his side's phenomenal run so far in the State League men's competition, State League 4 men's competition. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the only Geelong team at the moment that is looking like they may get promoted. Lara United in men's State League 5 also, if they have a good run towards the end of the season, they too could be in the running, but at the moment, Surf Coast State League 4 men's side, they are our best bet for promotion this year. We'll also be talking to a young man who made his debut for the Geelong Soccer Club on the weekend, TAREK ATTA. He was a late announcement, or later we secured him very, very late, so a big shout out to Steve Janoski, the Geelong Football Club football operations manager. He brokered that appearance. And we'll also be hearing from another debutant, a youngster by the name of James Alexander, who made his debut in North Geelong Warriors. A fantastic win on the weekend. They won 1-0 against Moreland City to keep their hopes well and truly alive of surviving in the NPL Victoria competition. But folks, it's time now for the Global Game segment of tonight's show. When we return on the other side of the break, we will have our first guests for tonight, Charlotte AINSWORTH from Brisbane and CARLA LEE from Liverpool Football Club. Folks, don't go away. It is the Game of Two Halves, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
It's Ray from Euro Football Star. We are very excited to be coming live from Istanbul in Turkey from the Champions League Festival. As you know, we run our pro player pathway and also objective testing. And on the line, we've got Charlotte at AINSWORTH from Brisbane. Charlotte won our competition back in 2022. And she won an $8,000 trip of a lifetime, which is going to be going to the UK in September with me and all the Euro Football Star staff. And also, we've got Ben on the line with it as well. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Ben. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, thanks. How about yourself?
Good, thanks, Charlotte. Good, thanks, Charlotte and Ben. Good to see you and speak to you. And also, we've got a very special guest all the way from Liverpool in England. And we've got CARLA joining us. Are you there, CARLA?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Now, hey, CARLA, can you give us a little bit of a rundown on what you do and what you do football in the UK and who you work with?
Yeah, so over the last 5-6 years, I've been with Liverpool Football Club, working in different departments, in the international programme foundation and also the ladies. So that's where I've primarily been over the last few years. Also a little bit of scouting, and yeah, really enjoyed myself over the last 5-6 years.
Amazing. Now, the reason why we've contacted you, CARLA, is obviously we've built up a good relationship with the last 12 months with yourself and going down to have a look at Liverpool and seeing the amazing things that goes on with the Girls Academy. And we're hoping to open up an opportunity for Charlotte to maybe come out and maybe join Liverpool for a training session or two in September. Do you think that's going to be possible?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, I'll try and put it in the pipeline, yeah.
Brilliant, mate. Awesome. Now, Charlotte's got 3 questions she'd like to ask you. Is that okay if Charlotte fires some questions at you?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Charlotte, over to you.
Thank you. Question number 1 is, what are 3 important attributes a player must have to be successful in a trial?
I think the main one is humility. So always be humble in the position that you're in. Always take everything in. Feed the information from the coaches, from your peers and players on the pitch. Have good determination. And also the last one is obviously your skill. So everything around your skill. So make sure you work hard at your strengths, but also your weaknesses, but also continue to make your strengths even better.
Brilliant. And your next question, Charlotte?
As a coach or mentor, what do you look for in a player?
I love teamwork from a player, first and foremost. Okay, how they interact with the other players, how they interact with the coaches. Determination and also creativity. I like a player to have their own mind and also have that creativity as well.
Amazing. That's a great question. Exactly. We push on the players back in Australia is creativity and using both sides of the brain, not just the left side, but that right side as well. And final question, Charlotte, and I think this is the best one.
What is the best advice you can give to a young player that has aspirations of being a professional footballer one day?
Best advice would be make sure you take the negatives as well as you take the positives. So always turn them negatives into positives. So never take anything as a negative, as in a bad way. Always make sure that you come back stronger. I don't know for a fact that I've watched a few clips of yourself, Charlotte, and know that you're a very, very good player. But what I need you to remember is that you're only at the beginning of your journey. So always fight to be the best that you can be. Have that ability as well to we'll start again with that one, Ray?
That's okay. So we'll get what we'll do, Charlotte. We'll get you. That's all good, Charlotte. We'll get you again, and then CARLA will come in and answer. Okay, off you go, okay. Charlotte.
What is the best advice you can give to a young player that has aspirations? Oh my God.
Aspirations.
Aspirations.
Well, we'll go again, Charlotte. We'll give you one more go. It's all right, mate. You'll get it right. Aspirations. Go on. Ask the question again.
What is the best advice you can give to a young player that has aspirations of becoming a professional footballer one day?
Take the negatives and turn them into positives. So always be humble in the surroundings that you're in. Make sure that you help yourself, but also help your teammates. Focus on your abilities, focus on where you want to be, but just have that, make sure that you've got that direction where that path is. What I would say is don't get too caught up in everything. Don't let it take over your life. Still be you as a person. Because I've seen lots of times where it takes over a person's life, it takes over a kid's life where they don't know anything else but football. So make sure you know you as Charlotte first, and then Charlotte as the player. And make sure that you still continue to work really hard.
Amazing. Thank you, Carla. Now, we've just got one more question for you, and we'll let you go because I know you're super busy. But obviously, there's a lot of good Australian players who come to England to play in the Women's Super League. Yeah. Who's your favourite Australian export, Carla, and why?
Probably say Sam Kerr at the moment.
Sam Kerr. And
yeah.
What's the one thing that you like about Sam? If there's one strength or area of a game that you actually think is part of a game that makes it so good?
I think an awareness of a time of when to get into the box and when not to get into the box. I think her positioning's great. A link-up play, the way she strikes a ball. She's always in them areas that you know that she's going to be finishing, and she's scored some fantastic goals over there, and we absolutely love having her in England.
Amazing. Guys, from everyone at Euro Football Star, we are so privileged to have had Carla and Charlotte join us tonight. We hope everyone's well back in Australia and all family and friends back in Liverpool as well. Keep updated with our latest social media links, guys. We've got more live videos coming from the Champions League Festival today. And a big thank you to Carla and Charlotte. Thanks very much, girls, for joining us.
Mist Air Conditioning and Mechanical Services is one of Geelong's premier domestic air conditioning companies. The company is a venture by the directors of a major commercial mechanical services company which has over 45 years combined experience in the air conditioning sector all over Australia. Our service and vast industry connections will ensure that Mist AC will not only be competitive in price, it will also get you, the client, ongoing service needs for your home or office. With a 7-year guarantee on all our workmanship, you can rest assured you will never be left out in the cold. Whether you are renovating or building your new family home, Mist can provide all types of ducted, split or reverse cycle air conditioning for your environment. We offer a total solution suitable to your family's needs. To find out more, visit our website at www.misthc.com.au or email us at info@misthc.com.au or call us now on 5278 6478. Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves. It is the global game segment of tonight's show. And geez, how good was that interview? Some of the things that I took out of that where Carla said things like, always fight to be the best you can be, turn the negatives and turn them into positives. Absolutely fantastic words of wisdom for any aspiring young footballer, male or female, young or old. It was just absolutely fantastic to hear those words coming from someone who's heavily involved, in a major club, the head of youth at Liverpool Football Club. It's now my pleasure to bring onto the show. He's our major sponsor for this year, and he's also the director of Euro Football Star. A big welcome to Ray Wood. Ray, how are you? And it's great to have you on the Game of Two Halves podcast.
Yeah, very well, Todsy. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How good was that interview there with CARLA LEE that you held with and Charlotte AINSWORTH, two fantastic female footballers, one a coach and one an aspiring young footballer. But that was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of our favourite interviews that we completed during the Champions League final, and it was some amazing questions and even more informative answers from Carla.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what's happening later this week in Melbourne as part of the free objective testing. There's the details on the screen. It's this Thursday at the Alan Bain Reserve, Mary Street in Richmond. And tell us a little bit more about the free objective testing, Ray.
Yeah, so we've got the free objective testing going on Thursday. We've got 2 time slots. We're going to be coming down, myself and the team from Euro Football Star in Brisbane, and we're going to be running free objective testing for boys and girls who are aged 10 all the way through to 16, 17 years of age. It's going to give everyone an opportunity to come out and experience our objective testing completely free, and also to get some free feedback on the game and some vital information on what we can actually give them. Part of the testing, we take them through our world-class objective testing, and it'll go through things like the Mbappe test, the Messi test, and there's many tests in there that we'll take them through. And as we say, we also give them some free feedback and a chance to win a trip of a lifetime. So they could be one of the winners of an $8,000 all expenses paid trip heading back to the home of the Premier League in 2024.
Now, this is possibly one of the first times that the objective testing has been held in Melbourne. I know there's been several sessions in Geelong over the last few years. Firstly, for the Geelong the players that did take part in the objective testing at the Leisure Time Sports Centre, are they able to register for this as well?
Yeah, so it's open to anyone who wants to attend. We know we've actually got players coming from as far as Perth, and we've got players coming from as far as Cairns as well. So it's open to anyone. All of our venues, when we set them up and run them all around the country of Australia, they're available for any boy or girl who fits in that age bracket of 10 to 16. And it gives them an opportunity to just come in and have some fun football for a couple of hours, and also maybe winning that trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, certainly mouth-watering and definitely tantalising. We'll pop the information there again. So players aged between 9 and 17, perfect for, as I said, for school holidays. This is for players of all abilities and all levels. One lucky player will be chosen to travel to the UK with us on an all-expenses-paid trip of a lifetime to the home of the EPL WSL worth $8,000. Sign up now. We only have 60 places. You also get to meet our ex-EPL and League UN coach. And they can do that on the website, is that right? On the Euro Football Star website?
Yeah, so if they go to eurofootballstar.com, and all the links are on there, and it'll drive them straight. And I believe we've actually only got 2 or 3 spaces left. We are full on one of the time slots, and I believe we've got a couple of spaces left on the other time slot. So act fast if you want to get those last couple of spaces.
Fantastic. That is really, really good to hear and good to see. Ray, wishing you all a safe trip down here to Victoria, and hope it all goes well. I'm sure it will. And we look forward to getting you on the show again in the not too distant future.
Cheers, guys. Have a lovely evening. Thanks, Tansi.
Good on you. Ray Wood, the director of the Euro Football Star, and they are our major sponsor for this year, but also they do some excellent work in the field of youth development. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we return, it will be time then next for the local game, and we've got a packed agenda to get through tonight. Lots of news, lots of footage, and lots of interviews. You are tuning in to the Game of Two Halves. As the first solar tube skylight installer in Victoria, Scotsgo Skylighting has nearly 30 years of experience and offers a variety of services including custom-made skylights, high-quality Velux skylights, and a variety of solar tube daylighting systems. The benefits of having the skylight in your home are many. They let natural light into your space, and with that light comes solar heat, improving your mood and even helping with performance in workplaces. Plus, heating your home with sunlight can save on heating costs during the chilly seasons. Cosmetic changes like skylights can add equity into your home, and, similar to adding mirrors on the walls, skylights can make a room feel bigger and more spacious. It's about time you enjoyed all these benefits plus more. So what are you waiting for? To get a free daylight assessment and installation quote, call our founder and owner Adrian Begg on 0409 823 177 or visit our website at www.scotsgoskylights.com.au. Scotsgo Skylighting is proudly Geelong owned and operated. Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And it is time now for the local game indeed. And we've got heaps to get through tonight, so we will get straight into it. But before we do that, just a little bit of a community announcement. Each Saturday and Sunday, we try and set up on our Facebook page, the Geelong Region Soccer News, a score update service. We call it Super Soccer Saturday and Super Soccer Sunday. And we ask you, the viewer, the football fan, the spectator, if you're out at a suburban ground over the weekend, pop in the scores. It doesn't matter if it's seniors, juniors, men's, women, or veterans. Make sure that you do pop it in and keep us all updated with what is going on. Okay, let's turn our attention straight away to the NPL Victoria competition on the weekend. North Geelong Warriors, for only the first time this season, in fact, they recorded a consecutive victory. This time it was against Moreland City, and Luka Jurkovic scoring in the 7th minute. But we also did have a youngster called James Alexander make his debut, which was a phenomenal achievement, and he did very, very well. And let's hear what he had to say after the game.
Look, I was very excited to join this team, and I was happy to get the opportunity to step up, and I was glad that I proved myself and proved to everyone that I'm worth being here, and I'm glad that I could push all the way and get 80 minutes on the field and just stay out there for my team. I was very excited, and I'm happy that we won. It didn't really matter how, but we got the win under the belt, and I'm happy to push it for next week.
Now, Luka Jurkovic got that goal after about 7 minutes from what it seemed like an impossible angle, but immediately after that, the confidence factor just seemed to rise, and you were able to hold out a real dogged Moreland City. I mean, there was so much at stake, but what's the feeling like at the moment in the dressing room after Hume City last week and now Moreland City this week?
We're looking forward more instead of looking back on the win, so we look to improve always. And even though we said just in the change room, this battle wasn't really, a battle of skill, it was a battle of fight and dogging you, and we pushed out and we were better today, but we don't know how any other day would go, but today we were the winners on that fact.
Tell us a bit now about yourself and your footballing journey. Where did it all start, and your junior days, and obviously it's ended up now with your first senior football game.
So I started locally at St Leonard's Sharks, then moved to Drysdale, and I've been at North Geelong for about 7 years. I moved away for one season, but I missed it too much, so I came back, and I finally today got to step up for my team, for my senior team. And I was so happy to step up and do that, to get the opportunity, and then find out I was even starting. I was so genuinely excited.
Well, you've been one of many North Geelong players that have been given the opportunity this year, and we certainly look forward to seeing you in action again next week. Green Gully, what can we expect from the Warriors against Green Gully? Can we make it 3 in a row?
We possibly could. I say we will do it.
Love that confidence there at the end of the little post-match interview. So if we go to the ladder, we can straight away see North Geelong have now, for the first time this season, escaped that dreaded relegation zone. So that is something that I guess is a positive. But there's still another 7 games to go, and it starts off this weekend when they travel on Friday night to Green Gully Reserve to take on Green Gully. Wounded Green Gully, they lost 4-0 to Avondale last weekend, and Green Gully at home are always a tough proposition, so that is not going to be an easy game, that's for sure. On to NPL3 Victoria, and Steve Janowski in today's Geelong Advertiser said it felt like a loss rather than a draw. Geelong conceded virtually right at the death of the game, right towards the end of the game, and it was a 4-4 draw. Anthony Trajkowski, the captain, scoring for the 2nd consecutive week. TAREK ATTA, he's the debutant who scored also. He's come from Werribee City. He'll be joining us very, very shortly. He'll be coming straight off the training track, and he'll be joining us very shortly. Marvin Brawweiler, he made the cross from North Geelong to Geelong in the midway through the week last week, and straight away scored 2 fantastic goals, as we see some of the highlights from the game on the weekend. Two world-class goals. These are just, you got to see this to believe this. But here comes the second goal very shortly. This weekend, Geelong travels to Caroline Springs George Cross, where they'll be taking on the mid-table side, Caroline Springs George Cross, who are looking very good. Look, at this stage, they're in second position at City Vista Reserve. It's going to be a tough one. It's this Saturday night at 5:30 p.m. And have a look at this goal. Brilliant goal there by Marvin Browweiler, the first of two of his goals. And the second one was an absolute thunderbolt that just came from nowhere. A phenomenal goal. And this one, folks, as you'll see, big shout out, a big thank you to Steve Janoski for providing this footage. And look at that bomb. Absolute fantastic. 4-4 in the end. Caroline Springs George Cross, they are currently in second position. They've got a game in hand against Nunawading City. Their game on the weekend was called off. Venue unavailability or something along those lines. But Geelong's got a really, really tough game this weekend. So hopefully they can do very well. Corio came up against Westgate away from home and were unable to come home with any points and lost 1-0. This weekend, they travel to Yallambee Park Reserve to take on Banyule City. Now, this is a very important game, a 6-pointer in the absolute truest sense. They certainly need a win here to distance themselves away from the bottom of the competition, the relegation zone. So a very important round 15 match coming up for Corio. Geelong Rangers, things are just seeming to go from bad to worse for the Rangers, but there is hope. They lost to second place Western Suburbs on the weekend, 1-3. But this weekend they do come up against middle of the road Mill Park at Partridge Street Reserve. They're in the relegation zone at the moment, but hopefully they can get out of that relegation zone. The sooner the better. Okay, moving on to State League 4, which is going to be a big focus of our discussion tonight. And if we look at the first game, Surf Coast absolutely annihilated Keilor Wolves, 5-0. Marn scored 2, Picot scored 2, and Mayum scored 1. And that leaves Surf Coast now in outright second position after Moonee Valley Knights and Laverton could only manage a 1-1 draw. So that means that the Surf Coast now are 2 points clear of Moonee Valley Knights. On the weekend, they host, in fact, Moonee Ponds United at Banyule Warrior Reserve. That's on this Saturday night. We'll be talking to Ash DAFTER, the Surf Coast coach, very, very shortly, and he'll give us all his views of the game just played last weekend, as well as looking forward to next weekend. We've also got Bell Park. They had a great result on the weekend, 4-0 win over Spring Hills, Pripich, Young, Costoso and Nugent. And this weekend, they take on Barnstoneworth United at, Barnstoneworth United at home. So they're just 6 points ahead of Barnstoneworth United, but they can really kind of move away from the bottom part of that State League 4 ladder. Truganina Hornets hosted our Barwon, and Barwon came away with a 2-1 win. Robinson and Milton Bailey again amongst the goals. And this weekend, they host bottom side Gisborne SC. So if Moonee Ponds United lose this weekend to Surf Coast, Barwon could quite easily overtake them, and wouldn't that be a good result? Let's move on to Men's State 5, and then we're going to take a very, very quick break. Lara United absolutely annihilated ETA Buffalo, the bottom side in State 5. Tristan McGrath with a hat-trick. Marniso, Lynn, Kuipers, Mayondo, and Lockie Lazarich 1 goal apiece, and Joel Matouche managed to get 2 goals. Well, that means now Lara United have certainly solidified themselves in the top half of the competition standings there in State League 5. This weekend they take on second-placed West Point. That's at Tom Roberts Reserve. Going to be a difficult game, but when you think about it, they're only 5 points behind second-place West Point, and in fact 3 points behind third-place Melton Phoenix, which leads to that promotion playoff spot. Balmoral came up against Deakin University, an easy win for the league leaders, 3-0 win for Balmoral. But Deakin this week will take on ETA Buffalo at Delahaye Reserve, so you'd expect a good win there, that's for sure. Surfside Waves hosted Wyndham FC and lost that game 2-1. This week they travel up to Ballarat, and they will be involved with a big clash there against Ballarat at Tricado Park. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we do return, it's a very quick break. We'll be looking at the women's side of things as well as the local competition. All right, well, we're back on the in the local game segment of the Game of Two Halves podcast. Let's whiz through this because we've got both our guests ready and waiting in the green room. But let's turn our attention to women's VPL, and it's round 14 was played on the weekend. Geelong Galaxy travelled to the Ron Barassi Reserve in the Docklands, which is now home to South Yarra, and came away with a 4-2 win, courtesy of a brace from Sano as well as Rosali. So Galaxy recorded their 7th win of the season. They find themselves there in 6th position. On the weekend, they've got a very, very easy game. Well, on paper, it's an easy game. They take on bottom-placed Monbulk Rangers at home, and that's at Hume Reserve at 3 p.m. this weekend. In Women's State League 1, wasn't a very good day out for the Geelong sides. In fact, all three of them lost on the weekend. Craigieburn City, the bottom side, recorded their first win, unfortunately, at the expense of our Lara United, 2-1. Izzy Wilkinson, again, the prolific goal scorer. She got on the score sheet for Lara United. This weekend, Lara United hosts Geelong Rangers in the big local derby. That's on Friday night at 8:30 p.m. at the Lara Recreation Reserve under lights. So if you're not doing anything this Friday night, come down to Lara Recreation Reserve to watch that game between Lara United and Geelong Rangers. Speaking of Geelong Rangers, they travelled to Clifton Hill, where they were beaten 1-0 by Clifton Hill. And North Geelong Warriors travelled to Caroline Springs George Cross and came away with a 1-3 defeat at the hands of George Cross. Louisa Kump, the only goal scorer for North Geelong. So as we can see, North Geelong still in 3rd spot, Lara United in 7th. And unfortunately, at the moment, Geelong Rangers in much the same predicament as the senior men's. They find themselves on the bottom of, second last and in the relegation zone. If we move now, turn our attention to the local competition, the Geelong Region Men's Division 1 competition. On the weekend, on Friday night, we saw round 9 opener. Bell Park defeated Barwon White 5-0. So they've maintained their lofty position at the top of the competition standings. Barn Blue defeated Geelong Rangers 3-1. Armstrong United suffered a little bit of a setback, and as a result, they've been pushed out of the top 4, defeated in a thriller by Breakwater Eagles 3-2 at the Armstrong Creek Sporting Oval. And in the final game, FC Leopold defeated Surf Coast 1-0. Now, an interesting statistic that comes out of the weekend's games locally, with the catch-up round taking place this weekend, and Leopold FC, as a result, they scored their 400th goal across all competitions. Now, this was the Division 3 side that managed to do this, and it was scored the second goal out of the 5 goals against the Ballerine Sharks. FC Leopold managed to record their 400th club goal, if you like. So well done to the Greens there. Okay, we're moving along to the women's. We're nearly done. We're nearly covered the local scene. It was round 8 of the local women's competition. And in fact, it was round 9, my apologies. On Friday night, Surf Coast travelled to the Bannockburn Recreation Precinct and came away with a very easy 4-0 win. The following day, Drysdale Soccer Club defeated Barwon Heads 11-1. Corio Bay outgunned Ballerine Sharks 3-1. Barwon smashed Deacon Ducks Gold 10-1. And Surfside Waves came away from Stead Park with a 4-0 win over Geelong Soccer Club. Armstrong United defeated FC Leopold 1-0 in a very, very closely fought contest at Estuary Reserve. And certainly last but not least, the leaders, Bell Park, they defeated Deacon Ducks Black 5-1, and when it was a magnificent win there by the table-topping Bell Park. Just like the men, they find themselves on top of the competition standings there in the local league. So excellent result there to be had by Bell Park, who are looking very good in the local Geelong Region League. Folks, we're going to take a very short break. When we return, we're going to be speaking with the debutant who made his debut for Geelong Soccer Club, a youngster by the name of TAREK ATTA. He'll be joining us after this break. Folks, don't go away. As the first solar tube skylight installer in Victoria, Scotsco Skylighting has nearly 30 years of experience and offers a variety of services including custom-made skylights, high-quality Velux skylights, and a variety of solar tube daylighting systems. The benefits of having the skylight in your home are many. They let natural light into your space, and with that light comes solar heat, improving your mood and even helping with performance in workplaces. Plus, heating your home with sunlight can save on heating costs during the chilly seasons. Cosmetic changes like skylights can add equity into your home, and similar to adding mirrors on the walls, skylights can make a room feel bigger and more spacious. It's about time you enjoyed all these benefits plus more. So what are you waiting for? To get a free daylight assessment and installation quote, call our founder and owner Adrian Begg on 0409 823 177 or visit our website at www.scotscoskylights.com.au. Scotsco Skylighting is proudly Geelong owned and operated. Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves. It's the local game segment, and it's now time to talk to our first guest in our local game segment. And this youngster made his debut on the weekend for the Geelong Soccer Club in their NPL3 Victoria clash against Box Hill United. 4 goals to 4. It was the draw that could have been a win, but for this fella, it was definitely a memorable game in more ways than one. He made his debut for Geelong. TAREK ATTA, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show tonight. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me on board.
No, thank you for making some time out after training. So I do appreciate everyone's efforts there at Geelong Soccer Club to maybe cut the training short for you so you could come and join us, but we must be thankful for that. How was training tonight, by the way?
Yeah, training tonight was a light one. Obviously, just coming off from the game on Saturday with an unfortunate how the way it ended. But, you know, training was light. You know, a lot of the boys just got in there. We did some shape work and just some preparation, you know, to looking forward to the game that's coming up on the weekend.
Yeah, well, we're seeing the highlights now of the game, the goals. There's the first goal scored there. Take us through this second goal. So what happened here? Yeah.
So you can see in this one, I've drifted inside and I've seen the striker make that run a bit out wide. So I knew the space was in the middle, came in the middle, and I was shouting for it. He's hit me and then managed to find the back of the net there.
Brilliant. And what was the feeling at that moment when you hit the back of the net?
Yeah, no, it was just pure joy. You know, I could hear all the fans. You know, my debut obviously at the club, so you know they've welcomed me in very well and felt like a part of the family over there. So no, it was a very joyful moment.
And we're watching now with Marvin Brolway has 2 world-class goals, and look at this one, absolute blast! Like, at that moment, were you guys like, you know, like just stunned? Were you shocked? Were you just like speechless, or was it just like, what happened? What was going through your minds then?
When he shot that second one, I was obviously, you know, I'm ready for the follow-up, but I'm like, I don't know if this is in, this is out, what's happened. Even the goalkeeper was confused for a bit, yeah. So it's fair to say it was a brilliant shot.
Yeah. Now, you've come from Werribee City. You had a stint there at Werribee City, but you're originally from Perth. Tell us how you got into football and how you ended up over here in Victoria.
Yeah, well, you know, I was playing in Perth, obviously, all my life. I grew up there, and eventually got into the NPL, the first team over there. Then I heard about an opportunity that led me to going overseas to Dubai for a period of a few months. And then I was hearing about the coming of the season in Melbourne, and there was a few clubs searching for players. And thankfully, actually, there was an academy in Perth called Two Halves. they linked me with Craig Filer, and he basically offered me the spot in Werribee. And so kind of just without hesitation, just flew over and settled in. You know, they treated me like family and helped me get settled in here.
Well, there you go, Craig Filer, who's well, this show is being simulcast on the Football Out West Facebook page, and Craig was on the show last night on the Football Out West podcast. So definitely a familiar face. Now, Craig tells me off here there's also a second fella from Werribee City that's going to be coming to Geelong as well, and he's making his debut possibly this weekend.
Yeah, he should be. That would be Gideon.
Yep, Gideon.
Another teammate of mine, great fella. So he's also a winger, pacey and talented player. So I'm happy for him as well. And it's good to be, you know, seeing a familiar face around the change room as well.
Yeah, and what is your preferred position, Tarek?
To be honest, like I've always growing up been like a versatile kind of attacking player. I'm always around attacking midfield. But if I do get played out wide, which I'm comfortable with as well, I tend to invert quite a bit and tuck in and exploit the gaps in the middle. So kind of anywhere along that 7, 10, 11 area.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's a strong connection there between Geelong Soccer Club and Werribee City. Dominic Barber, the current head coach at Werribee City, once upon a time was also a coach at Geelong Soccer Club, and the connections remain strong. What's your comparison between, say, Dom playing under Dom and now under Ted Latomansky, the new the coach at Geelong?
100%. Well, obviously, I've only been here for about 1 week, so I haven't really analysed everything and kind of had as much time to think about it as I've been at Werribee. But the quick notices I've noticed with this move so far, Dominic's style is very grind out the game, solid, compact shape, and it gets the results for Werribee, which it was a different type of play style. But as soon as I noticed that I came into this team here, I was a bit more kind of expressive, a bit able to roam around, which I kind of benefited from in this first game. So yeah, obviously it's a very different style of football, and I guess both of them have their pros and cons for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Well, if we look at the ladder once again, that's after round 15. It's very, very tight at the top, for that battle for that second position, but it's also very, very tight down the bottom. And look, with Marvin, with yourself, with Gideon as well, certainly, and I guess the biggest recruit is Captain Anthony Trajkowski, who's been back now for 2 weeks and has scored in both those games. But it's a tough game this weekend up against Caroline Springs George Cross. They seem to be really flying, and look, there's certainly no denying they're very ambitious. Not only do they want to get into into NPL2 next year, but they want to get into the national second division. So it's obviously a club with a lot of resources and a lot of ambition. What's going to be your approach this week heading into Saturday night's big game? Because every game from now is pretty much a must-win game, isn't it?
Every game is massive for us. To be honest, like I don't really read too much into who we're versing that particular week. Obviously, you can look at the ladder and say they're second and we're currently second or third from the bottom at the minute. But, that kind of just motivates me even more to kind of go out there and make an upset and prove, that the leaderboard isn't, where it should be.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Apart from playing football, what else do you do? Are you studying, or are you working anywhere, or at the moment, or where are you living in Werribee and commuting?
I'm actually living in Carlton.
Wow!
Got a spot there recently, so. But yeah, in terms of what I do outside of football, pretty all over. I mean, I'm very entrepreneurial. I love business. So I've got a few side hustles, like a clothing brand, a tutoring business, and I cut hair as well on some weekends. Just
goodness me!
just a few things, But yeah, obviously I love to stay connected to the football and the gym as well. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And big thank you to Steve Janoski, as I mentioned earlier in the program, Football Operations Director there at Geelong Soccer Club, for organising and all the logistics involved. So we thank you very much, and thanks to everyone at Geelong Soccer Club for allowing you to get out a little bit on the training track. And
they've truly welcomed me and made me feel at home here. So, I'm beyond grateful for them.
Good stuff. Well, Tarek, we certainly look forward to hearing a lot more from you in the future, and all the best to Geelong for the big clash against Caroline Springs George
100%.
Cross on Saturday night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you. Thank you very much. All right, it is the Football Out West. Football Out West. We are going on the Football Out West Facebook page. The Game of Two Halves podcast, powered by the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we do return, we'll be talking to the Surf Coast Football Club senior men's coach, Ash DAFTER. And boy, are the Coasters on fire this year. We'll find out what's behind all of that and what we can expect in the coming games. Don't go away, folks. Mist Air Conditioning and Mechanical Services is one of Geelong's premier domestic air conditioning companies. The company is a venture by the directors of a major commercial mechanical services company which has over 45 years combined experience in the air conditioning sector all over Australia. Our service and vast industry connections will ensure that Mist AC will not only be competitive in price, it will also get you, the client, ongoing service needs for your home or office. With a 7-year guarantee on all our workmanship, you can rest assured you will never be left out in the cold. Whether you are renovating or building your new family home, Mist can provide all types of ducted, split or reverse cycle air conditioning for your environment. We offer a total solution suitable to your family's needs. To find out more, visit our website at www.misthc.com.au or email us at info@misthc.com.au or call us now on 5278 6478. Welcome back to the Game of Two Halves podcast, and we would sincerely like you to support this show. Become a member of the Game of Two Halves podcast and receive the exclusive Geelong Weekly Football News Bulletin every Friday. What's the catch? It's only $5. There's no other catch other than that. Sign up now for as little as $5 per month. And there's the website right down the bottom. I'll leave that up for a while. www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. That's www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. And all subscriptions, all memberships, they go directly to supporting this forum, this podcast, so that we can continue providing more and more weekly content, news, views, information about the game here in Geelong. It's booming at so many levels, but there are so many issues and so many problems that need fixing up. But we try and do our best each week to try and, give you a little bit of a insight into what is happening. Speaking of an insight into what is happening, let's find out what is happening at Banyul Warrior Reserve and why there is so much success there at the Surf Coast Football Club. And to tell us all about it, it's Ash DAFTER, the senior men's coach. Ash, pleasure having you on the Game of Two Halves podcast. How are you?
Good, Tonji. Thank you very much for having me, mate.
Oh, the volume seems to be a bit low. We'll try and put your volume up a little bit louder. Hello, can you hear? Yeah, very faint though, but nonetheless we can. Yeah, definitely hear. Mate, thank you for joining us. And look, unfortunately, it just seems that at the moment, Surf Coast, the senior men's team, is the one team in Geelong looking at promotion. But, unfortunately, we wish it would be the case. A lot more other teams were there as well. Lara United, possibly in State 5. But look, you've done really, really well this year. You've recruited well in the off-season. But more importantly, I think you've managed to get the side playing a brand of football that's both attacking and exciting, but above all, it's winning games.
Yeah, look, we have. Hopefully you can hear me a lot better now.
Yeah,
look, we've obviously had a fantastic start to the season, recruited well in the off season. Through, lucky enough, I've obviously been part of the NPL system for quite a long time, so I was able to bring a lot of young, talented Christian Mohan, Brad Varel, Real, Sam Bickett, those sort of names. And obviously, we were able to obviously snare who's been fantastic for us as well. So,
yeah.
Look,
Ash, can I ask you to do a favour? Ash, can I get you to... Yeah, can I just get you to switch off
Yep.
the Bluetooth speakers and just use it, because the Bluetooth's interfering with the actual kind of signal, and we're getting like a little bit of a hiccup happening in your audio. But if you can maybe switch off the Bluetooth speakers and just speak through like
Is
the
that
normal
better?
speakers, I think that'll much
Is that
better.
better?
Yep, absolutely, that's
Easy. Sorry,
much better. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so look, we're obviously off to a great start, and the club's been super supportive of myself and obviously my assistant Dennis Holtgriff, and he's been fantastic support for me as well. So yeah, it's been good so far.
Yeah, if we pop up the ladder there again, we can see in second spot. And from what we've been told, and this seems to be the confirmation that the team finishing in second, where you are right now, but hopefully that's going to change and you guys will be on the top. But the team finishing second it gets to play a promotion playoff spot against a team finishing second in State League 4, the Northern Division. Now, after that, is it automatically then whoever the winner of that tie is, they get promoted, or do they then have to play the third last place team in State League 3 Northwest?
Yeah, no, they have to play the third last in State League 3 Northwest. So there'll be 2 games to obviously finish second.
Yep.
Yeah, they will be obviously play second of North in State League 4, and then obviously State League 3 Northwest 10th position we'll play to hopefully get promoted if we finish second. But look, our aim is to get automatic promotion, and we were lucky on the weekend with the result Laverton drawing, and we were able to close the gap by 2 points. And look, we've got them coming up in 3 weeks' time, so fingers crossed we can get a good result there and close the gap to 1 point.
I was going to ask you, are they beatable, or are they just like light years ahead of everyone else in the competition?
Look, no, I think they are beatable. They've obviously, they've only dropped 1 game. Well, they've dropped 2 games this year. Obviously, a draw, both to Moonee Valley Knights. So they've drawn to Moonee Valley Knights and lost to Moonee Valley Knights. So, look, we think we play the football. And, when they first played us earlier in the season, I think it was probably too soon for our young squad with all the experienced players that they have. But, the momentum, the confidence, and the sort of the way we're playing football now and the self-belief we have now, I think we have a really good chance to go to their home and get a great result, which will then, close the gap, hopefully, and apply more pressure. And, someone else does us a favour, which then able to leapfrog them. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, we're seeing some of the highlights from Saturday night's game down at Banyulwarri Reserve. Look, the floodlights, the brand new renovated pavilion, if you like, the atmosphere generated there. Must be an absolutely happening place on a Saturday night these days down at Banyulwarri.
Look, it is. Look, since obviously the new stand, and look, every week, every home game, our crowds are getting bigger. More of our juniors are coming to watch the game to support the seniors, and they all have their favourite players to support, and starting to chant for their favourite players, which is fantastic, and all credit to the senior boys and our reserve team who are doing fantastic as well, who are first on the ladder in the reserves. So they're supporting the junior teams and getting involved in coaching and helping out coaches in sessions and stuff like that. So it was something that was sort of brought to me when I first took the job was, we need to bring that togetherness to the club from seniors all the way through to our grassroots. And, I feel like, by every week passing, we're starting to get closer and closer as a club and heading in the right direction. So.
When you took the reins at the start of the season, did you think kind of now, 15, 16 rounds into the season, you'd be where you are now? Or were you thinking you'd be probably top of the competition standings? Or where did you actually realistically see the team?
We thought we would be in the top 4. We didn't really have an expectation on if we would be promoted or be as high as we are. We obviously, last year, the boys were in a bit of a transition phase with the club last year, and, they finished 5th, and, with a lot of new players coming in, young players and stuff like that. So, look, we just wanted to see progression, and a top 3 finish was the required progression. So I think we're ahead of schedule, but lucky enough, the boys have gelled, they've got to work, understanding our methodology of play, everything like that. So, look, now we're in the race for the automatic promotion, and that's something that we're striving for. So, and look, the boys are super confident. I'm super confident that we can achieve that if we are perfect from this point moving forwards. But look, our aim was just progression into the moving up and being a competitor for promotion. I think we're ahead of schedule, but look, we'll see what happens and see how it unfolds the rest of the season.
Yeah. Now, ex-North Geelong recruit John Pikett has been an absolute revelation. He scored 20 goals in 13 games. He's the leading goal scorer of the league. But it's not just John that's providing the firepower. Christian Mann, he scored 9 goals. Yashko Karnovic has scored 8. And Real Mayum has scored 8 as well. So you've got obviously a lot of various avenues to goal. But obviously this, I guess the key there is also the service that the midfield is providing. So apart from obviously those 4 that have been scoring goals, who are some of the other players that have been really, really excelling this year and have been, the catalysts for the wins?
Look, sort of been everyone, but look, the leadership group has been fantastic. Tom Langman, the captain, Matthew Zilic, has obviously scored a goal himself. So has Tom Langman. So our defenders have pitched in as well. Young Frankie has been fantastic. He's Surf Coast pride and joy down there. He's an incredible young player and young person, and he's been able to help the new players settle in with obviously the leadership group. And look, we were lucky enough to recruit, some highly regarded young talent like Brad Varel, Krešo Judovic from, NPL Geelong Soccer Club. They were both senior players last year. So we were really lucky to get them down there, and they've added a lot of quality to the team. And, it's sort of been a real team effort. The way we play is a high possession game and really attacking, and it sort of needs everyone. We've been they've all been fantastic to the efforts they're putting in training and everything like that. And look, now it's just about taking each team in front of us and see where we finish up.
Obviously, there's a real big hive of activity in NPL and the higher state leagues at the moment, with the transfer window being opened up in the NPL competition. A lot of players being discarded as well, and all of that kind of stuff. Are there any plans on signing any new players, or you're pretty happy with the squad that you've got at the moment?
No, we're pretty happy with the squad. Look, we're obviously open to potentially new players coming in if they're the right fit for the culture we're creating. For the culture, we have at Surf Coast, and if they're the right type of player we're looking for, obviously. But look, we think we have a team that's... Look, I think we're one of the 3 youngest teams in the division. So, we've got a lot of young talent. And look, obviously with our reserve team doing fantastically, and at first, we've got a lot of really young players pushing senior players this year in a
lot of depth.
Yeah, young 16-year-old Milo Mullen Grange, who's arrived from North Geelong, and his twin brother, Hunter, who's a fantastic young goalkeeper as well. We have Julian Hunt, Taj Adams, all guys that have been part of an NPL system. Lockie Mikak have all come, and they're in the reserve team at the moment, but getting a lot of opportunities with training with seniors and trying to push into that, and they're really pushing the more senior players. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help produce players for Surf Coast as well, longer term, and that's sort of our job and the requirement from the club coming in. So I think we're on the right direction. But look, we have a 5-year plan from a football perspective and a 10-year plan, and we're going to follow that and see how high we can get Surf Coast up the leagues.
Fantastic. Well, look, there are 7 games to go or thereabouts until the end of the season. I can't believe that we're almost 3/4 of the way through 2023. But this weekend, round 15 at Bangalore Reserve, 5 p.m. kickoff, and that's a big game against Moonee Ponds United. Just as we spoke to young Tarek now, prior to yourself, every game for them is a must-win game. But I guess when you're in this position, you're being hunted by Moonee Valley Knights and Keilor Wolves and some of the other teams pushing for that second spot. You're now the hunted, as well as hunting Leverton FC yourself. So it all starts this weekend. A big match day coming up on Saturday. Which time slot do you guys prefer? 7 p.m., 3 p.m.,
look,
5 p.m.? It seems to move around a bit.
Yeah, look, that was something that we were trialing this year. We're trying to find the best time slot to obviously help get as many of our supporters down. I know historically it's been 3 o'clock. But look, obviously speaking with the playing group and obviously the board and obviously the club, we want to try and create a real fantastic atmosphere down there and get as many of our supporters down there to support our senior state men's team, our senior women's team. So look, this year we're sort of a few different time slots to try to figure out which we think is the best one, and that's sort of where we're at the moment. So we have another 7 o'clock next week at home as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and having the later games, do you find teams, players and spectators and fans from other clubs also making their way and getting a little bit of a double fix of Saturday football?
Yeah, I do. Like I've seen, other local teams down there, obviously watching our games as well. Because obviously with the later time slot to maybe their teams playing. So look, which is fantastic. And look, I try and get down to support as many clubs as possible if it's not on the same time as us, obviously, and get down and watch as well. So, which is good because you get to see the local talent and potential players that we could attract to Surf Coast.
Yeah, fantastic. Ash, mate, all the very best for the rest of the season, but especially starting this weekend with the big game against Moonee Ponds United at Banyule Warrior Reserve. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and hopefully that 4-point gulf between yourselves and Laverton FC will be cut down even more. And then in a couple of weeks' time, we say in 3 weeks' time, you come up against Laverton.
Yes, we do.
Is that at home or is that going to be away?
No, that'll be away.
That'll be away. Big game coming up in 3 weeks' time. Mate, wishing you all the best, and thank you for being a part of tonight's Game of Two Halves podcast.
Tonchi, really appreciate having me, mate. Thank you very much.
Good on you. Ash DAFTER, the coach of the Surf Coast men's team, State 14. They've got a big game coming up this weekend. And, folks, get out and about to these suburban grounds, rug up and enjoy some local football. And if you've got a little kiddie that is aged between 9 and 17 and they haven't as yet registered for the Euro Football Star free objective testing this Thursday at Allen Bain Reserve, Mary Street in Richmond, between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. There is an opportunity for them to be involved in that objective testing. And it's certainly very, very worthwhile, provide some great feedback. Folks, thank you for being a part of episode 111 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was a jam-packed show tonight, and going by the excellent viewer numbers, we've had a lot of new faces as well for tonight. So we do hope you join us again next Monday night at 8 p.m. for the episode 112 of the Game of Two Halves. I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about back there. All right, thank you very much for joining us once again. All the best and have a great week.